Good morning. So I'm here to talk about the problem, which is remote learning has created healthy living inequities for our students. So this problem is something that we've already faced over the last 3 months while dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic situation and working and learning from home. So I was teaching a drama class, and we obviously moved our class from a portable, which is where it was at school, to our homes, and we had online classes twice a week. So just with that as a small example, not every student had the same access to the internet, not every student had the same stability in terms of a Wi-Fi connection. Some students didn't even have the technology to access our online classes when we moved online initially in April. So moving forward, if we are continuing to work and learn from home in September, then there will be definitely other issues in terms of access for students that we'll need to take into consideration. So first of all, technology is going to continue to be something that not every student has the same access to, but also in terms of physical education, we're going to need to look at equipment. And we already distributed technology to some students and families that needed it. Perhaps in the fall, we're going to have to look at how we can distribute some resources to students and families for physical education. That could be something as simple as running shoes for students that don't have proper footwear, to a simple kit of equipment that students can use at home and follow along in their phys ed classes remotely. So that's one idea in terms of helping students access an equal opportunity to physical education while learning remotely. Something else we're going to need to do, and I did this for my ILP actually, is potentially teaching some phys ed classes on platforms such as Zoom. So what I did for my ILP is I had 6 students join me remotely from 3 different locations, and obviously that's a small group, but it was also my first attempt at teaching a phys ed class remotely. There were a couple obstacles. For example, the technology works great to begin with, but there were a couple features I thought I would be able to use that I wasn't able to. I thought I could click on students' screens individually to focus on one group at a time in terms of giving feedback and looking for certain learning skills or some success criteria that I was trying to see. But once I realized that I couldn't isolate the groups individually, I just got closer to my screen so that I could look from window to window and try to keep an eye on what everybody was doing at once. So as a teacher, it was an adjustment, but it was kind of the technological modern equivalent of circulating in the classroom, trying to keep an eye on everybody, keep everybody safe, but also keep everybody on task and continue to provide feedback so that they can learn the new skills and that there's some quality progress and education going on within the class. So from that experience, I know it's possible. It'll be different with larger groups, obviously, but it's something that I think we'll need to prepare for in the fall, and as well as distributing equipment to students. What I did was, my activity was very simple and didn't involve a lot of equipment, but if there was an activity that's going to involve more equipment, that we can't assume every student has that equipment available to them, and we may need to look at our budgets and our resources in terms of allocating some of that equipment to the students that are going to need it when we expect them to be able to follow along remotely. So this is a possibility in the fall, and I believe the course of action we would need to take begins with looking at our budgets and where we can share these resources. But then also, of course, we need to advocate for our physical education programs in general and make sure that we don't get lost in the shuffle or forgotten when it comes time to work at home, because other classes obviously may adapt a little easier to working at home, working from a textbook or working from an online course. Phys ed is going to require a little bit more flexibility and creativity, and it may also require more technology and more equipment that we as educators are going to need to provide for our students in order for them to be successful. All right, so that's the problem, and hopefully together we can figure out a solution. Thanks.